Hello people of the internet, today we are here to ask the question, Saryn.
Yeah! What is it good for?
Indeed, what is the Warframe Saryn good for? To answer this we will take a look at her abilities inside the simulacrum and then take her out into the live environment to see her in action before explaining how to collect her in game. Saryn's first ability is Spores. Inflict a target with a pox of corrosive spores. Spread spores to nearby enemies by destroying them or killing their host. The longer the spore spreads, its damage will increase. As a first ability, this is incredibly overpowered and is the main makeup in what I would use Saryn for. As you can see, when you inflict an enemy with spores, they have a corrosive proc on them that damages them slowly over time. Whilst infected by spores, you will see a reddish globe in the lower right hand corner of the screen. This indicates how many enemies are affected by your spores and the increase in damage that it is going to be doing. If I take care of this heavy gunner with the pox right now, you can see that the pox then spreads to all of the other heavy gunners in this area. Now the count has increased and the damage scales much quicker. After a short amount of time, each enemy will start to fall. At this point you could be off taking care of other matters while your pox takes care of these. Bearing in mind that heavy gunners are heavily armoured, the fact that these can rip through these in a relatively short amount of time makes this ability one of the best damaging abilities in the game at present. Saryn's second ability is Molt. Shedding her skin like a snake, Saryn leaves a decoy behind to draw fire from enemies. This ability works a lot like Loki's decoy ability. Link in the description below for my Loki What Is It Good For video if you do not know what that is already. The main difference as far as I can tell though is that Saryn's decoy can take a lot more damage before it is defeated. It makes sense as Saryn cannot go invisible like Loki, so this ability is to give her more time to fight back or make a tactical retreat. You can augment this with the regenerative Molt augment so that you also regen some health when your decoy takes damage, a very handy augment to have. Saryn's third ability is Toxic Lash. While active, attacks deal additional toxin damage. This effect is doubled for melee strikes, instantly bursts spores when attacking afflicted enemies. So as the tooltip states, you gain additional toxin damage with this ability, which is great as my main melee weapon is mainly toxic based for damage. On top of this though, spores are instantly burst when attacking with this ability. This means that as enemies get higher in level and become harder to kill, you can simply spread the pox with a single melee strike and carry on, leaving that to finish off any enemies in the immediate area. Also, pox can be applied to a boss, and then each time you melee the boss you will spread the pox to any surrounding adds, good for when a mini boss such as the Stalker shows up. Saryn's fourth ability is Miasma. Releases a poisonous miasma that deals viral damage to enemies in range. Foes afflicted by spores are more susceptible to the mist. As you may already know, viral damage greatly reduces an enemy's overall health, so if you have your toxin damage from your melee attacks combined with the corrosive damage from your pox, and then you unleash viral on the enemies with your miasma, it is safe to say that the enemies in the area are going to be having a really bad day. On its own, miasma is good, but when combined with your other damaging abilities, it is absolutely lethal, as you can see by the amount of damage inflicted on these level 120 gunners. So now that we know what Saryn can do, let's take her out into the live environment for a run around. I like to use Saryn in the Sanctuary Onslaught game mode. In here she simply dominates because you can affect enemies with the pox, apply Toxic Lash to your blade, and just run around spreading pox all over the map and watching enemies die all around her. I usually use this in the Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, but for this video I only did the standard Sanctuary Onslaught, and as you can probably see, enemies die so fast that they are dead before I get a big chain going. Either way, you can see it is lethal, and that's why Saryn rules at Sanctuary Onslaught. You can also use her in missions like Hydron on Sedna to quickly level weapons or farm relics. Wherever you take her, you're likely going to be walking away with the most kills in that game mode. Now that we have seen what Saryn can do, you may be wondering how to get your hands on her. While Saryn Prime is available, I highly recommend farming her relics or purchasing her from the market. However, if at the time of asking she becomes vaulted, the standard Saryn is a good replacement. To get that you will need to be as far along in the star chart as Sedna. Here you will need to start by completing some of the arena matches. This pits you and anyone else in your group against a bunch of AI controlled enemies named Executioners in a kind of PvP style deathmatch. Health, ammo and energy scattered around the arena, you must collect it to keep going, and the first to 25 kills in the higher difficulty missions wins. Winning this will grant you 25 judgment points, defeating level 85 Executioners, but this requires 15 judgment points to enter. There is a lower tier of level 60 Executioners that rewards 15 points but requires 10 to enter. And finally there is a free to enter mission at level 40 that grants 10 points if victorious. You will need to start here obviously, but as you need to get a lot of points to get Saryn, it will be quicker to play the arena at the highest level if you can. The reason being, in order to fight Sedna's boss Kayla the Thame, you need to have 25 judgment points, and as you may have guessed already, Saryn's parts drop from Kayla. Once you have the judgment points, you can enter the Kayla mission at Merrill on Sedna. In here you need to make your way through to the elevator into her battle arena. To raise the elevator you must shoot 4 lights around it that are covered by a spinning shield type device that will only spin if you are standing on the small circle on the floor in its position on the elevator. If you bring a good AoE weapon such as the Ignis, you can simply shoot at the area housing the light and you will hit it and take it out. When all 4 are done, up you go. Remember this process though, as you will need to do it again during the boss fight. Once you are inside the arena, Kayla will jump down to face you. She jumps all around the room and does a fair amount of damage, so keep moving as best you can and get your shots in as often as possible. This is a 3-stage fight, and twice during the fight Kayla will jump back into her control box and start using the traps in the arena to take you out. Here she calls in orbital strikes on your location, so you need to keep moving to prevent them from hitting you, as they pack a punch and will most likely one-shot a lot of frames. After a few shots you will be warned that another orbital strike will commence in a few seconds. This is your cue to attack those spinning light guards again to force Kayla out of her control booth. If you do not get all 4 in one go, you will need to dodge the orbital strikes again and try again in the gap between. Once you have all 4 done, Kayla will re-enter the fight and you can continue to damage her. This will happen one more time and then finally you will be able to finish off Kayla. Once that is done, head to Extraction to get your Saryn part blueprint. In this instance I got the Systems blueprint. Rinse and repeat this process until you have all 3 parts, and then head on over to the marketplace to purchase the main blueprint and start crafting this warframe. So there you have it. We have had a look at the Warframe Saryn and what it is good for. If you would like to see a video like this for any other warframe I have not yet covered, then let me know in the comments down below and I will see you again next time. If you like this video, please consider watching another. 2 suggestions will be on screen now. Also, if you have not subscribed already, please do so by clicking the icon in the middle of this screen. Every view and subscription will go a long way to helping the channel grow, and in turn will result in more content for you. Thank you, and until the next time, goodbye.